Hello everyone, making another video here today. This one is concerning the new recent Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster. And I've been playing this game for about 50-ish hours now, so the footage that you're going to be seeing is going to be mostly, I'd even call it late game. I'm like level 25 now. If you guys remember the old Oblivion, once you get to about level 20, it becomes kind of the end game, and they didn't really change much there, but I'll get into that going forward. But the first thing you're going to want to ask yourself is this remaster worth it? If you're a returning veteran like me, I played Oblivion so much back in the day. It probably was one of my most played Xbox 360 games. I literally bought the console to play Oblivion. I was fresh out of high school, just showing you my age a little bit here. But um, yeah, if you're a returning player or if you're a new player, you've never played Oblivion, but you've probably played Skyrim. A lot of people have played Skyrim because Skyrim is amazing and it's still in many ways the gold standard for what a Western RPG can be, because Bethesda has never quite topped that previous effort in Skyrim. But yeah, with these two questions in mind, is the game worth it? Now, the game currently is going for $49.99 on Xbox. This footage, by the way, was captured on my Xbox Series X. So you kind of notice some frame stutters. I set it to performance mode, but it doesn't consistently hit the 60 frames. But I mean, it still runs really smooth. That's actually one of the things about this game that has surprised me the most, is just how smooth it runs, how different it feels. It feels different, yet oddly familiar. It literally feels like you're playing Skyrim mashed with like Oblivion gameplay. And if you're watching the video, you'll kind of see that. You see how fast my character is. That's because in Oblivion, I used to always focus on the speed stat. That was one of my main focuses, was athletics and acrobatics. Those skills return, and it just makes your character like super fast. But in the original Oblivion, there was no sprint feature. It wasn't as smooth as this. This feels more like you're traversing like a Skyrim than Oblivion. So it just feels a lot fresher. It just feels a lot better. You just kind of have to play it, I guess, to see what I'm saying. But as far as that goes, absolutely fantastic. But I digress. It is currently $50 basically for the standard edition. There's a $60 edition, and yes, Bethesda did it again. They charged for the horse armor. Luckily, I looked at that and I said I don't care about that. It comes with 2 horse armors and 2 normal armors, and then like 4 weapons, I think. For only $10, whatever. I mean, if you want that, games do this all the time. Like the Dead Space remake did this. So if Resident Evil 4 remake does this. So it's kind of like a bonus thing, like when they do these remasters, these remakes, to offer this. But it's kind of a meme. If you guys don't know the deep lore, a lot of people actually blame Oblivion for the start of paid DLCs, because the horse armor kind of was. That was like the first like microtransaction DLC, you could say, that ever existed in like the history of gaming. So, but yeah, to get back to what I was saying, I'm about 50 hours in. I've done most of the content, as far as the map. That's what's weird. I've done the map, but I haven't actually done a lot of the quests. I just barely closed the Kvatch Oblivion Gate, and then I'm just kind of going through the guilds. But one thing about Oblivion that I completely forgot about, and Skyrim kind of has this too, is that you just really get lost in the world. You start exploring, you start picking things up. You'll kind of see me here in the video. Like I pick stuff up, and then you get over encumbered, and you got to go sell it. And something in this game that's really awesome that I forgot as well from Oblivion to Skyrim is that in Skyrim, the traders only have a certain amount of gold, and then you have to like wait 24 hours or 3 days. I think it was like 3 game days for their gold to replenish to keep selling. But in this game, they just have a max gold, and when your mercantile skill goes up, you can start increasing the amount of gold that you can earn up to a certain point. So if you have like a merchant that his highest point is like 2,000 gold, and you have potions worth 10,000 gold, you just sell them in chunks of 2,000 to get the full amount, the full 10,000, if that makes sense. And you don't have to wait like multiple days. So like that's another thing about Oblivion. It makes you stupid rich, stupid fast. I can kind of see why they changed it in Skyrim, but that always annoyed me in Skyrim. It's like you go to town and you have to like hit up all the merchants to get all your items sold, and until you get your barter skill up, you can't even sell to most of the merchants, and so you just end up going to like a few in the game and traveling all over. So this game still has that. If you are familiar with the Elder Scrolls grind from Skyrim, Oblivion still has that. This game literally came before Skyrim, so a lot of the Skyrim personality is still in this game. And another thing in the game as well is the way that the leveling works. Now this is another change that I fully supported them doing, because the leveling system in the original Oblivion, in my opinion, and really many others' opinion, it's a consensus at this point, is that it was a complete mess. It was hard to calculate. There was a luck stat involved. You had to like level up your luck in accordance with certain stats. You had to make sure that you picked your major skills and basically optimized a certain way, to the point where there was really only one build you could do if you wanted to level past a certain point. And like I said, the end game in this game is about level 20. It still seems like it's that way, but it has that Skyrim thing now where you can keep leveling using your minor skills, like Skyrim. Like basically what I'm trying to say is, in Oblivion you could only level using your major selected skills when you created a class, and then all the other skills were just kind of like literally pointless. You could level them, but they didn't do anything. But now they made it like Skyrim, where every single skill that you use contributes some to your level. They just kind of mashed the Oblivion Skyrim leveling system to where your major skills give you more experience and your minor skills give you less experience, but both of them level you up. And then when you sleep and level up, you get 12 attribute points that you can just put wherever. So there's no more of this calculated, am I going to get 5 in endurance? Am I going to get 5 in agility or whatever? No, it's like if you want to put, that's literally what I did. I just wanted strength. I always go strength because I want the carrying capacity until I can like enchant my items with feather. So I just went strength all the way to 100 as my first skill, and then I did intelligence to 100 as well, because I like to cast spells and level them up. That's another thing that's great too, is like now casting like alteration, illusion, mysticism, conjuration, all of those skills contributes to your level. So you don't even have to like put them as major skills. You can just have them as side skills and kind of like cast them as you're playing, similar to Skyrim, right? Like Skyrim, you would cast like muffle or whatever to level up while you're playing. So yeah, that was kind of long-winded, but I wanted to go over the leveling system. Completely revamped, I think, for the good. I think Skyrim has mainstreamed a lot of things, but the Elder Scrolls to me was never really about deep leveling systems, although they were there if you go back to like Morrowind and Daggerfall. But to me, the Elder Scrolls, especially from Oblivion onward, and really Bethesda games in general, were about the exploration. So I'm glad that they fixed up the leveling system there. And then, as I said, another big change is they added the sprint. So you could sprint in Skyrim and it would consume stamina. Like I said, because of the athletics and the acrobatic skill, now that I'm really high level, the sprinting doesn't actually feel necessary, but it's kind of cool. I don't know, like I said, it's like I'm really, really fast in this one compared to the original Oblivion. So that I don't mind. I mean, the sprint feature feels cool. It makes it feel more grounded, and I'm all for it. And then another thing is that they have apparently rebuilt the game in the Unreal Engine 5, so that's a big difference. It doesn't really feel like that to me, honestly. Like I said, this still feels like a Skyrim. It's like they took the heart of Oblivion, like the core, the soul of Oblivion, and they put the shell of Skyrim over it. You see too in the video that I play a lot in third person. I don't usually play third person in these Elder Scrolls games. But in this game, I kind of liked it because they got like the camera off to the side. It's really fluid. It's really fluid, and you can, use the bow with ease. And it doesn't. It still has the same problems when you're like melee fighting. But I don't know. It's maybe it's all the years of Elder Scrolls Online that I played, but it just feels like I can play in third person now. And yeah, maybe that's a good way to put it. Is that if you've played Elder Scrolls Online, there is even some similarity here with that. It's like they took some things from that game, the way it played, and zoomed it out. You can mess with the FOV settings. Like I'm only playing at 90, but I think you can go like all the way to 120. So you can really expand the view of the game, and it's just absolutely insane how they did it. Another thing that I'm really liking with the Unreal 5, and I've seen some criticism, but I actually like it, is I think the lighting system, while it can be a little bit glitchy sometimes, I vastly prefer it. You can especially see it when you go into the Oblivion gates. And then also you'll kind of see in this video that like when the auras come up in the sky, this happened in the old game, like the sky at night would turn like green and there'd be these auras that show up. But now it's like these little droplets of light like hit the ground, and it kind of adds this otherworldly feel. And there's been times now, like similar to games like Red Dead or something like that, where I'm just like walking around and I'm just in awe, just kind of like stopping and looking at the environment. And so they did a really good job with that in my. But yeah, it's really apparent when you go in the Oblivion gates as well. It feels like you're playing like Doom or something now. The Oblivion gates it can hurt your eyes a little bit if you're color sensitive, because it's like really, really red, but it actually feels like you're in hell. It feels like you're in like Diablo's realm or something. And you know, the Maroon's Dagon is the main danger in this game. It actually feels like you're in there. You know, if you see the thumbnail that I used, I took a screenshot of my character in front of an Oblivion gate, and just the way that the light was hitting, just fantastic. I think the immersion level, right, it still has the soul of Oblivion, some somewhat dated mechanics, but it has this like next gen immersion that really, it's better than even Skyrim. It's probably the best Elder Scrolls game as far as immersion goes now to date. And so yeah, that's kind of what I really wanted to go over gameplay wise. Another thing that I wanted to point out that I think is apparent is that this game, this remaster, was developed by a contract studio named Virtuous, I think is what you call them. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm not a big fan of Starfield. I actually, I'm one of those people that's not super excited for Elder Scrolls 6 because, you know, the industry right now, it's filled with DEI, it's filled with woke garbage. This game actually has it too. Instead of picking male and female, it has option 1 and option 2, which is really stupid. It's also kind of funny because, as you see, my character is a female. I usually make female characters in video games, but it looks very feminine. Like the character actually looks feminine. So I thought it was weird that they have this option 1 and 2, because they had this in Starfield as well. But in Starfield, if you made like a woman, it was really hard to make it look like a woman. It was like her body looked really flat and manly, and you know, no boobs, no butt, no nothing. It was just this like flat character model. You could make like the face like somewhat pretty. You know, I messed with it quite a bit in Starfield, but this game, it was actually quite easy to make an attractive female character. So the addition of the option 1 and 2 feels weird. It's like we're at this weird cultural point now, I guess, where it's like they'll appeal to the wokies, which probably don't even play most of these games anyway, but they'll try to appeal to the virtue signaling wokies by putting it in there as that, but then they're just going to make them look more masculine and feminine again. It's very, very odd. But yeah, to get back to what I was saying, the fact that a secondary studio made this, and you guys can go watch the making of documentary that Bethesda released when this game came out. This game came out on the 22nd of April. It's a clear difference. They have these devs that they show in the Bethesda studio, and we're literally talking what we're talking here, guys, like 300+ pound women, blue hair, piercings, like every stereotype you could think of shows up in this. But then they show the virtuose, I hope I'm saying that right, I should have looked it up before, but virtuoso or whatever they're called, you look them up and it's mostly men, mostly like nerdy men. It almost looks like the Halo 3 dev team. showing my age again here, but back then it was just guys. It was just nerdy guys that made these games. Like even Bethesda, back when Oblivion was originally created, it was just a bunch of nerdy guys with like select females, but the women look normal. And that's another thing with this Virtuos. There's like one girl that talks and she's got glasses and she's actually kind of cute and just looks normal. So this matters. That's what I'm getting at. You can see it clearly when you look these things up. Yeah, another great example on this actually is another game. I have not played this game, but it just came out called Expedition 33. And this game is getting like universal praise right now. So I've seen the development team of that as well. Go look up the development team of this studio and you'll kind of see what I mean there as well. This is just, I don't know what's going on in the gaming industry. It feels like they've lost so much money, right? Like maybe Assassin's Creed Shadows was like peak woke and we're only back from there, but it's looking like things are shifting, but they're still trying to kind of virtue signal that it's not shifting. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, that was kind of my rant on that. That was like the politics out of the way. It's clearly in everything now. You have to discuss it. There's no way around it anymore. So I was gonna bring it up. I mean, this is a weird era we're in where, you know, we're post Kamala Harris, now into Trump, you know, as Academic Agent likes to say, if you guys ever watched him, putting the woke away. It feels like they're really trying to do that. They're kind of trying to like put it away, but not completely kill it so that it can come back at any time and haunt us again. But, you know, for now, it looks like games are going to be back on track. So that is very good to see. And yeah, to continue on that point, I really just like this idea too. I like this idea of these secondary studios working on things like the remaster, because Bethesda has said they're still working on Elder Scrolls 6, which, like I said, I still have no faith in that because Bethesda's working on it. But this Virtuoso studio, I'm thinking, okay, why don't they put them on Morrowind? Why don't they put them on like Fallout 3? Heck, the best remake we all want. Why don't they put them on Fallout New Vegas? Give us a brand new New Vegas, or even better, if you guys know the history of how New Vegas was made, it was contracted out to Obsidian. They could just do that as well. Why don't they contract a completely new game, Elder Scrolls or Oblivion, you know, or sorry, Elder Scrolls or Fallout, and just have these young developers make the game? I mean, this is what it's got me thinking of, is it's like, okay, the industry, obviously there's still a lot of passion there. You just have to give these games to the right teams and let them do it. And yeah, to the great credit of Bethesda, right? They could have taken this opportunity to completely destroy this game with the current thing. And again, they did it. They kind of did it with the option 1 and 2. But when you actually make the character and you're playing, you don't really notice it. Like, my character looks like a female. There's not really a lot of gendered armors. They were talking about that. But to be honest, in the original Oblivion, they didn't have that either. It is a missed opportunity because they could have really taken this chance to like make the armors look even better. In the original Oblivion, the character creator was so bad. The characters looked really weird. There is like a nostalgia to them, but it's some of the ugliest game characters in existence, in my opinion. They always were kind of ugly. I remember back in the day, I would always play as an Argonian because it was the only character I could make look cool. I tried to make female characters. I tried to make male characters. They all looked weird. I'd either pick an orc or I'd pick an Argonian. Usually Argonian was my go-to. But in this game, I was able to make a fairly attractive blonde Imperial female. And so I was like, okay, I'll just go with this. It was kind of like Skyrim. Skyrim has a pretty decent editor as well where you can make some good female characters. So yeah, I'm rambling on about this. And there's not much to say, I guess. I mean, it's Oblivion, guys. If you've played Oblivion, you know what it is. Is it worth it? That's where I'm getting to with this. And yes, I think it's worth it. I think efforts like this should be rewarded. If you have the extra money sitting around and you want an amazing game to play, especially if you've never played Oblivion. If you've never played Oblivion, hands down, this is a must-buy. This is a complete steal at $50. This is better than anything you're probably going to play all year. Again, you look at a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows, they're charging almost $100 for it. You know, it's got gay romances in it and all sorts of just nonsense, black samurais, like whatever, you know, the current thing. And then you have a game like this. And another thing you'll notice when you play this game is just that I've had this theory that we kind of like peaked in 2007 through about 2010, maybe 2011, really, like literally up till Skyrim was released. Like Skyrim was like the end of the peak, right? So you had like a period from 07 to 11, where gaming was like just fantastic. They were coming out with all sorts of amazing things, right? You had BioShock, you had Mass Effect, you had the Far Cry series, you had obviously Oblivion, like I said. You had Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption was absolutely phenomenal. It came out. Grand Theft Auto 4. So yeah, they used to really, really make games well. And when you play a game like Oblivion, even though it has a modern shell, the heart of the game is still there, and you can still tell that you're playing Oblivion. You're playing something classic. It just feels like I put in the thumbnail. They just don't make them like this anymore. They don't. So yeah, that's kind of me gushing about Oblivion for 20 minutes. I appreciate you guys watching this. I would like you to consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for watching, and also liking the video helps quite a bit as well. I'm trying to push to 1,000 subs, you know, get this channel monetized. So yeah, to just kind of wrap up, Oblivion, amazing game. This remaster, one of the best I've played, because this is not a remake. I did not go over that. This is still a remaster in my opinion, but it does have the spirit of a remake. A true remake would be something like Resident Evil 4. This is not that. This is, the best way to describe it, like I said before, is the soul of Oblivion in the shell of a Skyrim Elder Scrolls Online, with leveling systems and elements of all the things. It's basically all the things they've learned over the years with Elder Scrolls kind of smashed into one game, with just this slight familiarity, this slight nostalgia. If you're an old school Oblivion fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. And to any new Oblivion players, you guys are in for a treat. So anyway, like I said, that is the video, and I will talk to you all later.